When it comes to the ancient weapons of yore, Poseidon, Pluton, Uranus, the ancient weapons have always been a very hot topic when it comes to just the level of depth and lore and history, but also the importance of them for the future of the One Piece story. When you think about the weapons themselves, they are tremendous game changers, if not the pinnacle game changers outside of maybe the One Piece itself.
One Piece!
When you think about someone like, let's say, for example, Crocodile. Crocodile was gunning after Pluton. And considering how Crocodile, from a power standpoint, wasn't really all that impressive in the pre-time skip, and how when it comes to his prestige and his influence, even though the name Crocodile is world-renowned in many respects, his influence was for the most part limited to Baroque works in Paradise, in the Grand Line, not in the New World. But if someone like Crocodile were to attain an ancient weapon, even the Yonko, even Emu, and the Gorosei would now have to be on tremendous guard when it comes to Crocodile and his cohorts. Because the ancient weapon, that and that alone, would put him at their level, if not even over them. Because that's how powerful the ancient weapons are. Think of Goldie, Roger, and Shiki, people of great power and prestige. Back in the day, we see in the Strong World movie, in episode 0, we see how Shiki knew that Goldie Roger had an ancient weapon, or he had access to one. And he was confident that with those two teaming up and that weapon, they could literally conquer the world. Even the most powerful people in the world seek the ancient weapons because they are such a tremendous game changer. And in the latest chapter of One Piece, what Shiki attempted to do with Goldie Roger, Big Mom, and Kaido seem to be doing. Now, in the latest chapter of One Piece, chapter 985, Kaido understands that the Marines have a new force/weapon. They are confident in this being able to stop the Yonko. But Kaido then states, but while the world government grows arrogant, we have decided to join hands with the Big Mom pirates, which in of itself is a tremendous game changer move. Who would have thought that two Yonko, who normally are adversarial but heads, have now teamed up? But not only that, he continues and says, we've teamed up to seize the greatest power in the world, the ancient weapons. Kaido then states that from here on out, we are going to be putting our weight in full into the piracy business. And Big Mom and Kaido are now making the claim that they're going together, that they're going to attain the One Piece treasure. Now, the One Piece treasure and them going for it together is a strange thing in of itself, but that'll be saved for another video entirely. What's also surprising, I think, in Kaido's claims in the latest chapter is how they are putting their full weight behind the piracy business, which, considering Yonko and how not even the Marines and world government can take control of the New World because the Yonko run that territory. Yonko territory is the New World territory. So when you look at someone like Big Mom, who has islands making her candy, like Fishman Island, and she has that huge intel information network, how she had those connections, those deep connections with the underground broker in the underworld itself, and how well organized and structured, how large Totland is, of so many different islands that all work in unison with her family. And then how you have Kaido with his own territories, the weapon factories, and how he had Dofi under his thumb, connections to Dofi, therefore through Dofi, spies in the Marines. And then also his ties to the underground as well. How he's seeing Punk Hazard, folks trying to inform Jack of what's going on when it came to Caesar Clown. The fact that Kaido and Big Mom believe that they haven't put their full weight yet into the piracy business is pretty shocking. So I would assume in this case, when they say their full weight, they're putting their weight into the piracy business, it means that they're gonna try and do takeovers now. Like genuine attempted takeovers of all avenues of pirate life. So not just the weapons trade, but also now amassing territory outside of the New World. We saw Blackbeard kind of do this with Pinkbeard a little bit, but Big Mom and Kaido, for the most part, claim territory within the New World. For Big Mom and Fishman Island, that was a little bit of an exception there. But Fishman Island is a place where pirates pass through all the damn time. So they need some protection. And the Yonko flag does that for them. And now we all know Monkey D incoming for Fishman Island, obviously. However, when it comes to the Grand Line, or the North Blue, or the East Blue, West Blue, South Blue, the presence of the Marines and world government is very strong in those territories. Big Mom and Kaido, for the quest of world domination and the world of violence that they want to create, they are going to try and do something similar to Blackbeard. And they're going to probably gain territory outside the New World, which could mean trying to pay off or try to gain more Marine/world government spies. Because now that Dofi's in jail and Virgo's supposedly dead, I'm pretty sure they definitely want more people on the inside of the Marines world government for them. Of course, this also means taking Wano Country and Onigashima and turning into a pirate empire, a home base, if you would. So all of their actions can be coordinated through Wano Country. They are putting their weight in earnest into the piracy business. And with their team up, hard pressed to stop them, truly. Especially if they have an ancient weapon at their fingertips. Now, what's also, I think, possible, it's not confirmed of course, but this could be a 3 Yonko race, or I guess a 2 Yonko party race when it comes to ancient weapons. Before Act 3 started, we know that Blackbeard was on the move. The Marines were doing something, and Blackbeard was on the move, which may or may not tie to these Shichibukai. But one of the possibilities as to where Blackbeard could be going or could be trying to get is an ancient weapon. A lot of folks theorize that the world government have access to Uranus, but if they don't, then they would absolutely want to get their hands on an ancient weapon before any of the Yonko did. But Blackbeard, his ambitions are truly tremendous, and he could be aiming for that same ancient weapon that the Marines are going after potentially right now. But then potentially, Big Mom and Kaido could now also be after the same ancient weapon. So there could be 3 players in this race when it comes to one particular ancient weapon. So right now, when it comes to the current, you can say, throne wars of the world of One Piece, and people are vying for power and supremacy over one another, the ancient weapons are going to start playing a major role. A major role, for sure. And if the Marines, Blackbeard, and now Big Mom and Kaido Alliance are going after these ancient weapons, then sooner rather than later, we're going to start seeing these things pop into the story. We're going to start seeing Pluton. We're going to start seeing Uranus. We're going to see Shirahoshi, Poseidon in action sooner rather than later. But because the world government and the Marines have making a lot of major plays when it comes to Marine headquarters shifting location from the Grand Line to the New World, when it comes to the SSG, when it comes to trying to keep Dofi in power, and so on and so forth, the world government and the Marines have been puffing their chest a bit for the past 2 years. And the Yonko aren't fools, they're seeing that.
But I pity the fool.
Which is why Big Mom and Kaido Alliance, that's major. That is astronomically major. And if Blackbeard himself is like, okay, you know what? I need to compete that too. Let me try and get some ancient weapons, or let me get Aokiji on my team. That kind of stuff as well. So in more ways than one, it's like a giant game of chess. A planetary game of chess. And they're all playing it. Now, when it comes to the ancient weapon hunt,
We're on the baby hunt.
I'm going to leave out Uranus for now, because I'm not too sure what's going on there at all. There's so many theories about Uranus as to where it could be. The world government could have it. It could be located on God Valley. There's a lot of options when it comes to Uranus, and it could be one of the ancient weapons that they're going for, fair enough. But Uranus is the most obscure among all 3 of the ancient weapons, obviously.
But wait!
Quick little side comment. Chapter 1000 is approaching. The latest chapter is 985. It is very, very possible that we get Uranus around chapter 1000. Let's say, hypothetically speaking, that Act 3 ends, let's say, around chapter 999 or 998. And once that happens, we tend to shift to events that are going on outside of the Wano country borders. Yonko, Kaido, and Big Mom, ancient weapons. Blackbeard, potentially ancient weapons. And then the Marines may have found something as well if they already have an ancient weapon. It could be the case where we double back to Blackbeard and the Marines, and we see that they have access to an ancient weapon. It could be Pluton, that maybe they found Alabasta. It could be Uranus, that maybe they found elsewhere in the world, and Black is trying to beat them to it. So of course, only time can tell. But do keep in mind that chapter 1000 is coming. And when it comes to these major milestones of the 100th chapter, Oda tends to go pretty big when it comes to major reveals or shocking moments or stuff like that. And one of the possibilities of making a truly shocking chapter for chapter 1000 would be to show in full an ancient weapon of mass destruction. The other two are far more likely when it comes to targets for ancient weapons. However, there's a chance here where Kaido and Big Mom don't have, at this point in time, a specific target when it comes to an ancient weapon. Meaning that they understand that in order to guarantee world domination and the world of violence that they want to create, they need an ancient weapon to solidify that world domination. However, Big Mom and Kaido may not know exactly where to start. Meaning, they have the idea in their mind, but they don't know where to go exactly. So that could be the case, but I'm going to assume for the time being that they are aware of how to start this off when it comes to aiming for an ancient weapon. Now, the first thing would be, of course, Shirahoshi, Poseidon. If Big Mom, given her intel network, knows that Shirahoshi is Poseidon, the ancient weapon of mass destruction that controls the Sea Kings. Because Fishman Island was part of her territory in the past, in the recent past, obviously. And even though they've done their best, clearly, to keep that a secret, because what happened recently with Shirahoshi stopping the Sea Kings when Luffy was trying to destroy the Noah Ark, it is possible that maybe word got back to Big Mom in some way, shape, or form, but we won't find out that she knows information until later this arc or some of that sort. And furthermore, from there, it also kind of ties hand in hand a little bit with the prophecy of the destruction of Fishman Island. And we see Luffy in the fire and Madame Shirley's vision and so on. Now, granted, I believe it's actually stated that it's some of the straw hat, which could tie to the big straw that we see where Emu is in that vault. It could tie into that. So there's no guarantee, obviously, but there is a chance here, obviously, where Luffy could return to Fishman Island, and we know that who is quote-unquote guaranteed to go down this arc is at least Kaido. Because if we take Luffy's words at face value, Luffy has repeatedly said time and time again that after Kaido is defeated, then Big Mom is next. So Kaido is still the main bad guy for the Wano Country arc. Whether or not Big Mom goes down this arc, I would argue no, for a host of reasons. But afterwards, what happens with Big Mom, if she is still active after Wano Country, it's kind of up in the air. Because we know that Luffy and Katakuri, they talked about returning to Whole Cake Island. There's Big Mom's ties to Elbaf as well as Fishman Island. So there are three possibilities when it comes to if Big Mom is not taken out in Wano Country, where would she be incorporated next into the story? And Fishman Island is one of those locations, absolutely. So in Big Mom and Kaido's case, one of their targets could be Shirahoshi, the mermaid princess that has access to the Sea Kings. And since Big Mom is going down after Kaido, Luffy and Big Mom, they fight on Fishman Island, and as a result of their fight, the island is destroyed. However, I would say it's unlikely that they already know. I don't have that much confidence in Big Mom's intel network finding out that information, especially when the Fishmen so far have done a pretty good job of keeping it under wraps when it comes to Shirahoshi being the angel of Poseidon. However, there is Odin's journal, which cropped up recently. Odin's journal would probably have the log information of when he visited Fishman Island. If Kaido or Big Mom at some point during this arc gain access to Odin's journal because Yamato, she dropped it or she lost it somewhere, or let's say she's defeated and then some henchmen grab the journal and then they bring it to Kaido or to like Big Mom, some of that sort. In Odin's journal, once again, the logs of when they visited Fishman Island should be there, which means that the legend of Poseidon being the mermaid princess who controls the Sea Kings would probably be there as well. So if Big Mom and Kaido don't know yet about Shirahoshi, they could know later on this arc, because Oden's journal, for better or for worse, could have major intel on very important aspects of the world itself. Now, the One Piece, I'm not too sure about that one. I think it's a bit much, honestly. I really do. But the Ancient Weapons and Mermaid Princess, Ancient Weapon, and Sea King Control, yeah, that could be a thing there. That could earnestly be a thing written in Oden's journal, and then Kaido and Bell can find out later on.
Hang on to your seat, baby, cause this one's a screamer.
3, 2, 1, go!
Caribou! I forgot about this. What? Caribou knows that Shirahoshi is a bit special. Caribou knows this intel he could give, because he has not left Wano. There's no way on earth Caribou has left Wano. He is still somewhere there. And in fact, it's very possible that the person behind Jinbei and Robin, could be Caribou. And if Caribou is on Onigashima for whatever reason, in order to save his own behind, which is very, very likely, he could give Big Mom and Kaido some major intel on one Shirahoshi and what she's capable of doing. If Caribou gives the intel to Big Mom and Kaido, they gotta check that out. Like, wait a minute, what? Wait a minute, the Mermaid Princess can control the Sea Kings? Oh, good stuff. Now, granted, this does go against my my ridiculous fan theory of Caribou at least being an allied member of the Straw Hat Alliance. That has to be scrapped to the side, obviously, but for the time being, Caribou could use that intel to save his own behind, maybe even get in the good graces of Big Mom or Kaido, and then voila, Shirahoshi is now in play. So not just Oden's journal, but Caribou as well could give Big Mom and Kaido the scoop, and then things can cascade from there absolutely. However, I'm willing to bet that instead of Shirahoshi, instead of Poseidon, Kaido and Big Mom's aim could be Pluton. It could absolutely be Pluton. And I'm gonna start with Frankie for a second. The reason why is simple. Frankie, in Frankie's mind, he should know how to build the ancient weapon. He had the blueprints memorized from Tom Sand's blueprints that he burned in NES lobby. And in fact, I think Iceberg would know too. But I'm gonna save Iceberg and Frankie and Pluton for a whole nother video. And as far as we know, I believe it was at the end of Zou, Frankie mentioned how he was going to build weapons against Kaido. Now, granted, we haven't seen that as of yet. Frankie and Brook, wait, actually, now I think about it, what happened? Frankie and Brook, like, we've been following so many parties as of late Wano Country, we haven't seen a single thing as to what Frankie and Brook are doing. So Frankie was the Usopp building the ships, restoring the ships and building that fleet of ships for the samurai. And then Frankie and Brook, later on, they disappear into like the sunset, and we haven't heard from these guys like the past 5-6 chapters. So Frankie, I don't think yet has had the time to build these weapons against Kaido. But I believe earnestly that Kaido and Big Mom and their forces are going to win against Luffy and company second time round. I believe that Luffy will get captured and the Strats and the Alliance will suffer tremendous blows. And then they'll realize how over their heads they were when it came to taking on Kaido and Big Mom at the same time. And as a result, Frankie could feel like there may be no other option but to recreate at least a part of Pluton in the hopes of taking down Kaido/Big Mom. And if that were to happen, that would absolutely catch the interest of Kaido and Big Mom. Immediately, 100%. Frankie potentially potentially, of course, could have a major role in this arc. Now, the very first person, major villain slash entity that I recall that was ancient weapon focused was SIR Crocodile. And I have a theory where the person that King and Queen were talking about to Jack, when it comes to their new partner, has deep ties to the underworld. Now that Dofi is gone, someone has to fill in that role. Someone has to fill in that role. And the very first underground, like deep underground, I can control a lot of henchmen that are across the entire Grand Line, smokes a cigar, has a claw, had a giant tank of crocodiles behind him with a fancy looking table. The very first man that was deep in the underworld that we see in the story is SIR Crocodile. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Crocodile was the new partner that Queen, Jack, and King were talking about. Their new partner, SIR Crocodile. Because Crocodile's name, again, has always been world known and world renowned. He commands respect, even in Marineford War. Crocodile! 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 Damn! Crocodile! Crocodile commands respect. Even in the Stampede movie, he was there as like a counterpart to Rob Lucci. Crocodile's always been a major player. And ever since Dofi was defeated, I've kind of felt like Crocodile would be a really good match to fill in Dofi's role. And in fact, potentially take that role to the next level. Potentially. So I think that Crocodile may have taken over a huge part of the underworld. And now that they have a new partner with Crocodile, in theory of course, and Crocodile, for reasons that are kind of hard to kind of parse through, honestly, because given his mindset, why would he do it in the first place? But I think it's possible where Crocodile would give some intel about the ancient weapons to Kaido / Big Mom. I think that could be very possible. I'm not against it in the slightest. Given Crocodile's mindset, I'm pretty sure he wants to keep that to himself, because I'm pretty sure he want to be Pirate King and control the entire world and so on. But at the same time, similar to Doflamingo, he may have realized that the Yonko are just too powerful as they are, and so better control them, similar to how Dofi did, by managing the underground, by managing pirate trade, by managing spies and so on and so forth. And then by controlling them, he gains major control over a large section of the planet. And consequently, now I think about that, Robin would also kind of know where Pluton is too. She would, I think. But she hasn't said anything of that. I don't know why. Robin hasn't said anything at all to the Strides Company about Pluton. Though she should know, because she read that poneglyph about it. But who knows? So at the end of the day, I can definitely see Crocodile playing a role when it comes to Kaido's and Big Mom's attempts of getting an ancient weapon. The man could come back strong in this arc, which would be very intriguing if Crocodile did show up in Wano Country. I kind of doubt that he actually showed up in Wano Country, but I wouldn't be surprised to see a scene where Kaido is talking to someone on like a Dendenmushi, and then we see that claw, and we see that cigar. It's like, oh, there it is, there it is! So I could see that being a thing as well in this arc, but only time can tell. The Throne Wars are now, and in order to vie for supremacy, ancient weapons are coming in hot. And sooner rather than later, we're going to see major shifts in the chessboard that is the world of One Piece. So let me know your guys and gals' stance on the subject matter at hand. Be sure to rate the video. It is not that hard to do. I guarantee you that, because I know that you all have a device called Zamaosu. You use Zamaosu to click, rate the video, to click, subscribe, to click on that bell to join the squad. And of course, as always, feel free to please do comment in the comment section down below. Peace, and have a nice goddamn day.